Kinshasa, formerly Leopoldville, until 1966, is the largest city and capital of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. It lies about 320 miles, 515 kilometers, from the Atlantic Ocean on the south bank of the Congo River. One of the largest cities of sub-Saharan Africa, it is a special political unit equivalent to a Congolese region, with its own governor. The city's inhabitants are popularly known as Kinois. Kinshasa is not only the capital, but also the center of the dynamic and contradictory influences that have shaped the country's character in modern Africa. Kinshasa spreads out southward from the shoreline of the Congo River at Malibo Pool, a widening of the river. The plain on which the city lies varies mostly between 918 and 1,148 feet above sea level, and is partly encircled by higher ground. The surrounding countryside is heavily farmed savanna and gallery forest. The chief crops are cassava, sugarcane, oil palms, plantains, corn, peanuts, and beans. The climate is hot year-round, with a dry season from May to September, and a rainy season from October to May. The mean annual rainfall is slightly more than 60 inches, 1,520 millimeters. Violent rainstorms occur frequently, but seldom last more than a few hours. The hottest month is April, with mean daily maximum and minimum temperatures of 32 degrees Celsius and 22 degrees Celsius, respectively. The corresponding figures for July, the coolest month, are 27 degrees Celsius and 18 degrees Celsius. The higher suburbs are somewhat cooler than the central city. The built-up area of Kinshasa is divided into industrial, residential, and commercial zones. Along the western edge of the central city, an industrial zone, before 1966 called Laos West, flourishes near the site of the first depot established by the British-American explorer, Sir Henry Morton Stanley. To its east lies the riverside residential and administrative district of Gombe, which houses most of the European population and the Congolese elite. The central government buildings and the embassy district are located there. The eastern sector, known before 1966 as Laos West, of which the wide Boulevard du 30 June forms the main artery, is a major commercial area. The waterfront, along Kinshasa's northern edge, is lined with quays and large warehouses. Ndalo, east of Gombe, comprises a complex of port facilities and industrial plants. The poorer areas extend southward on the east and west of Kinshasa. Among Kinshasa's satellite cities, Njili, to the southeast, has become a residential area, while Kinpoko upstream has been developed as an outer port. During the 1970s, wealthy businessmen and politicians built mansions, often of spectacular opulence, in Binza, an area in the western hills overlooking the city. There are a variety of architectural styles in Kinshasa. High-rise apartment blocks, luxuriously appointed banks, stores, and the offices of large corporations and government agencies characterize the center of town. Some date from shortly after World War II, but the most prominent were constructed during the economic boom of the early 1970s. They include the Parliament, the President's Palace, built by the Chinese, the headquarters of the National Broadcasting Corporation, the International Trade Center, the headquarters of the Mineral Marketing Agency, and an unfinished tower dedicated to nationalist leader Patrice Lumumba. Spacious villas surrounded by ornamental shrubs and flower gardens, and often also by high walls and iron bars, stand on tree-lined, paved boulevards that mark the elite residential districts. Dwellings in the less affluent communities often consist of tin-roofed concrete block houses and multi-unit dwellings on unpaved streets, often inaccessible to vehicles. These in turn give way to hastily assembled shelters and rough pathways in the extensive squatting zones of the city, where many of the most recent immigrants reside. The population of Kinshasa grew slowly at first, from 5,000 people in 1889 to 23,000 in 1923, but increased rapidly after 1940. After 1950 it doubled about every 5 years, and by the beginning of the 21st century was approaching 5 million, a great many of whom lived in the squatting zones. Much of the population growth has been the result of Congolese migration and government expansion, but widening of the city's boundaries has caused some of the increase. Kinshasa has a young population. More than half the people are under 22 years of age, and only a tiny proportion of the population is over 50. Migration of peoples from the rural areas intensified greatly after independence as colonial restrictions were relaxed. Political troubles and the economic decline of rural areas and their lack of amenities and opportunities, as well as the attractions of the city, have contributed to this rural exodus. In its early years the city received immigrants from Western Africa and the various neighboring countries of Central Africa. Since independence, however, most new inhabitants have come from within Congo, especially the nearby regions of Bandundu to the west and Base Congo to the south and east. Kinshasa is the most important consumer center of the republic and the core of its industrial and commercial activity. The city serves as the headquarters of major public corporations and of privately owned industrial and commercial companies. It dominates the financial and commercial life of the republic and houses the head offices of the principal banks. Among Kinshasa's main industries are food processing, and those producing consumer goods, for instance, beer, textiles, and footwear, generally for domestic markets. Construction and various service industries also contribute to the city's economy.